Menzies.
Mr Speaker, on Saturday, November 24, Victorians have an opportunity to address the real issues that are facing them in the state. Those issues include the congestion on the roads, the crime rate, which is out of hand in parts of Melbourne and other places in Victoria, and indeed the cost of living. And the Liberal National Opposition, led by my friend and state parliamentary colleague Matthew Guy, have already announced a series of policies to address these issues. Policies to deal with congestion, including building the connected highway, the biggest connected highway in Victoria's history, the East-West link, which is important to constituents of your electorate, sir, as well as mine, and the North East link. Building the biggest traffic congestion busting project in Victoria's history, a $4.1 billion to $5.3 billion infrastructure project to remove traffic lights and roundabouts through grade separations at 55 of Melbourne and Geelong's busiest and most dangerous intersections. In addition to that, the high-speed European-style rail network across Victoria, which will take some of the pressure off the growth in Melbourne in particular. We know that already with a population of 5 million people and growing at 2,700 people a week, which is an equivalent of 140,000 extra Victorians each year, that congestion is a major problem so far as Victorians is concerned. And these sorts of projects, which would be implemented by a Liberal national government in Victoria, would make a big difference. In terms of crime, there are policies of mandatory minimum sentences for repeat violent criminals, of 11 serious crimes, including murder, rape, aggravated home invasions, carjackings, one-punch hits and aggravated burglaries. An overhaul has been announced of our bail system to ensure that the most violent and dangerous offenders aren't immediately put back on the street. That includes the introduction of a presumption of remand for those charged with violent offences, the introduction of the one strike and you're out policy for anyone breaching bail, and the reinstatement of the offence of breaching bail by juveniles. In addition to that, there are community policing and protection for safety of our local community policies, which have been announced by the Liberal National Opposition in Victoria. And then, of course, there are policies in relation to education, the abolition of the political Safe Schools program to replace by an actual anti-bullying program targeting all aspects of discrimination to ensure that kids in schools in Victoria can learn safely and happily. There's the scrapping when it comes to the cost of living of the Victorian renewable energy target to help stop electricity costs from continuing to skyrocket for homes and businesses throughout Victoria. Speak to any homeowner, as you know, sir, in Victoria, or any small business operator, and one of the things that they'll immediately, unprompted, mention to you is the spiralling costs of electricity for their homes or their businesses. And therefore, the policy to allow the onshore conventional gas exploration and production would also help to keep a downward pressure on electricity and power prices and gas prices in Victoria. These are some of more than 100 policies that have now been announced by the Liberal National Party. As I said, these are aimed squarely at the real issues facing the people of Victoria, the congestion on the roads and the public transport, the crime spate which has occurred in various parts of Victoria, and indeed the cost of living pressures. So a vote on November 24 for Matthew Guy and his team is a vote to make some real change in Victoria. I've had the pleasure over the last few weeks, Mr Speaker, of being out with a number of candidates, with Nick McGowan in Eltham, with Monica Clark in Ivanhoe and her launch just recently, down at Narre Warren with Vicky Fitzgerald and Bentley with Asher Judah, and I hope to also be able to help out with Brad Rosewell in Sandringham. These are candidates who have got the future of Victoria in their sights, who want to do things which will make living in Victoria an even better place to live than it is at the present time, and working as hard as they can to respond to the issues that Victorians have been raising with them and with us over many weeks and months now. As I said, Victorians have an opportunity on November 24 to make a real difference in terms of the future of the state. A vote for Matthew Guy and his team will ensure that we have a much stronger, more prosperous Victoria in the future.